too long. Let's see. First one that I have here is Tyreke Hill. The only reason why I brought this one up is because I recently tried to make a trade for Tyreke Hill in one of my leagues, and I found myself offering a lot of young talent. And Jacob knows me. Sometimes when I say young talent, it could be guys you've never even heard of before. So I get that, but I'll be open about it. It was George Pickens. It was JSN. And I thought that was young talent for a guy that is about to be 30 years old.
Wait, those two for Tyreke?
But I was asking for a first-round pick also in return.
And
I was
hold
on, Jacob. I was offering a second and a third as well. I was offering a second and a third as well. Doesn't matter, okay? The point is I found myself, I'm like, I don't know if I could do this trade. Yes, Tyreke Hill is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, but he's already come out and said that 2023 might be his last year.
He said after his contract, he'll retire.
Yeah, so he's already contemplating retirement. So how long is that even on your fantasy roster? And then this little blip on the radar comes up, and yes, we don't talk about court and all of that, but it just factored into it that he's now currently under a police investigation for assault and battery charges. But it's just like, dude, like, oh my goodness, like, do I really want – if I make that trade, I have Tyreke Hill. I wanted the first round pick more so as security, because what if Tyreke Hill is suspended for 6 games? Yeah. What if he retires after this season and he's a wide receiver 25 because he missed the first 6 games of the season? So I just kind of wanted your tidbit about it. Tyreke Hill, all that's going on with him right now. What do you think about him from a fantasy perspective? Give me your short take, dynasty perspective and your redraft perspective. Kind of just where are you at? And again, take note, everybody, it is July.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the assault and battery thing, that's tricky. And honestly, I usually avoid situations like that unless I'm getting the player extremely discounted. And I don't think he's going to be extremely discounted in redraft leagues or anything like that.
That's a really good point.
Dynasty, I mean, whether this is fair or not, when I'm doing a startup, I'm not drafting 30-year-old wide receivers. Again, unless they fall extreme value. So like that trade, when you first mentioned that trade, I'm like, oh, if I'm that Tyreke Hill owner, I'm doing that trade in a heartbeat. I didn't know the first round pick was involved, but like 2 young studs for him, I was like, absolutely. But I'll give you some perspective on my position in Tyreke Hill. I have him in 1 league. It's a 2-keeper league where which I'm very excited about, and it actually makes me want to stay in the league now, is that we implemented the draft value of the picks, right? So for example, if all right, I'm going to keep Tyreke Hill.
I forgot we did that.
I'm keeping Tyreke Hill and Garrett Wilson, right? But I'm going to keep Garrett Wilson as my 2nd round pick. So next year, now Garrett Wilson is always a 2nd round pick for me. And then I'll be able to now I can keep another player that I drafted later and always have my 1st round pick in the draft. So, and I kind of, that's how keeper leagues are supposed to be. We just hadn't been playing them like that up until this point, but at least with our friend groups and stuff like that. So I have a look at this. So in that league, I have Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, and Breece Hall, right? But it's a full PPR league. I'm keeping Tyreke Hill and Garrett Wilson. So that, does that give some perspective? I'm keeping Tyreke over those 3 running backs.
One of those running backs was Ramondre Stevenson, right?
Ramondre Stevenson, Breece Hall, Tony Pollard.
Because that was going to be my next question. Is in a redraft league, and I get it, this is a little bit different because you're talking about a 2-player keeper league, but in a redraft league, just redraft startup, you're taking Tyreke Hill or Ramondre Stevenson. They're both kind of in that same proximity right now.
Well, obviously, I'll say it depends who I drafted before that, right? Whether I took a running back or wide receiver before that. But just in a vacuum, I mean, Tyreke is a monster, man. He's a monster. He produces there's a lot of years where I never rostered Tyreke Hill until I got him in this keeper league. And then I'm like, oh my God, he's just so good. And it's he never gets injured. and running backs are too injury prone. So I would go Tyreek.
Okay. What about Tyreke Hill or Cooper Kupp?
That's interesting. That's very, very interesting.
Kupp coming off the
I
injury,
need to
Tyreke
know
Hill,
about
all the
Matthew
drama.
Stafford. If Matthew Stafford is fully healthy, I'm taking Cup.
Okay.